it's Big V. Today we're talking teams, and we're going to talk about how do you grow your business from an itsy little bitty individual entrepreneur to something big and meaningful. How do you grow from your small business to a big business? Now, having had multiple companies over the years, I've bought companies and sold companies. I've had awesome successes and I've had some pretty miserable failures. I've learned a few things about how to grow a business. And I'm going to share with you from my experience what's worked and what hasn't worked in growing a business. First, let's define what a small business means to you and what a big business means to you. In this video, I'm going to talk about the key things that are going to get broken as you're beginning to scale. Most people, when they start in real estate specifically, is they build a what's called job for themselves, meaning that they create enough business so they get up every day and they stay busy. But they don't really build a business that's duplicatable or scalable. And over time, they do things well, but everything they do well is in their head and in their heart. So when it comes time to train somebody else to help them, they don't have any systems or processes that allow them to be able to scale. For me, if you're going to be in real estate, and this is just my opinion, nobody should ever tell anybody what kind of business they should operate. You all get to choose whether you want a small business or a big business. My goal is to spend as much time as I can with my family and as little time as work possible. And in order to be able to do that, I need to be able to have financial resource. I need to have some income. In order to create scale in income, that's only created by creating what we call is leverage. Leverage is used by systems and technology and by hiring people to help us do things that we shouldn't do ourselves. If you're going to spend an hour away from family, how about we just make it worth it? So defining what is small and big is really up to you. I'd like to ask this question of myself. What would it look like if tomorrow I got 5 times the amount of business that is coming in right now? So right now, if you're doing 20 transactions a year, what would happen if like all of a sudden tomorrow you had all this new business come in and you had 100 deals? What would fall apart? What would come off the rails? That thought process of what has to happen to create scale is how we begin to think differently about our business. Growing your business requires strategic and intentional approach. And so here's some of the things that will help you achieve that. Number one is you have to have clearly defined goals. Hey, what does 5X look like? So if you're doing 20, what does it look like to get to 100? What if you started at 100 and worked backwards? How do we generate leads? What's the transaction process? What is the operations manual? Who's going to do what tasks? What am I going to do in my business that I enjoy the most? Are all great questions. Number 2 is you're in a position now to build a team. If you 5X, now all of a sudden you're in a position to build a team. There's a couple of key things is we use numbers and we use a strategy to build our team. Here's some of the numbers we use. For every listing you generate, you should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. Every listing you get should generate between 6 and 8 leads a month. Every time you generate 25 leads, we add a buyer's agent. Now I want you to think about that. If you have 10 listings, that's 60 to 80 leads a month coming in. You should have 3 buyer's agents. You'll never get to that place in scale unless you understand the formula of developing and building your team. The next is lead generation. I'll tell you that most team leaders hesitate to develop or hire team members because they think it's their job to give them leads. While lead generation is important, if you teach your agents how to generate their own leads, then it doesn't matter whether or not you spend money on leads. You'll always have a team that is closing transactions. And so you've heard it say that if you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. But if you teach a man to fish, he'll fish for a lifetime. Your job as a leader is to develop agents to be able to fish. It's teaching them how to find leads. The next thing that a lot of team leaders forget is, and I think it's kind of innate, it's in their gut, is they know that when they meet with a client, the clients can get a great experience because you're good people. You care deeply about the client. You do the right thing regardless of the money. And you wonder if I hire a buyer's agent or a listing partner, will they give the same kind of service? Client service is critical to scale. And you have to teach the things that you do naturally to your agents who those things don't come naturally to. And so continues setting the bar of what client service means. How do we establish what a 5-star rating is? And how do we get our clients to constantly send those in? Happy clients refer more business and create more opportunity. So we want every single client to be a raving fan at the end of the transaction. The next is In order to be developed as a leader, you have to be focused on continuing to learn, and not just learn about being great in real estate, but learn how to lead. You need to invest in not just videos like these, but also learn how to become a better leader. What are the steps of delegation? How do you know what to do and what not to do? How do you prioritize goals? How do you think bigger, and how do you pour into your people? The next is, besides continuous learning, is accountability. You've heard me say before that accountability is love. Accountability is something that not only you have to provide to your team members, but it's something you as a team leader should embrace. If you don't have a coach, it's time to get a coach. Not so you have someone holding you accountable. It's because a great coach will create an environment where you choose accountability and you'll focus on the things that give you the highest return on time away from family. The next thing is that which gets measured gets done. You have to learn how to track the right things. We do this by using the daily success habits tracker. We track the number of dials it takes to have a conversation, the conversations it takes to have an appointment, how many appointments it takes to get a listing or a buyer contract signed. And when we start tracking those things, we start to get predictable results in our business. That which gets measured gets done. Anything you do 3 times in your business, you must have a system for it. On the right-hand side of the daily success habits tracker, the left-hand side, you're going to see where we track in 30-minute increments everything you do all day long. Hey, would you like a copy of that? Stay to the end of this video. I'm going to give you the daily success habits tracker. Just for watching the end of this video, I'm going to give you 2 tools that are game-changing in your ability to scale your business. The second thing is ask the question, what would it look like if I doubled? What does it look like if I 5X? What does it look like if I get out of production? When you ask the right strategic questions as a leader, it causes you to think differently about how your business is going to grow, whether you're the one selling all the homes or not. The next thing I learned in scaling a business from small to large is that at every level of scale, every level, when you go from 250,000 to 500,000 or 500 to a million or a million to 5 million or 5 to 10 million, at each level of business, all of your systems have to be broken and rebuilt stronger so they can handle the next level of growth. Operational excellence comes by creating an operations manual. A lot of agents know they should have one. Everything they do well is in their head and in their heart. They've got to put it on paper. Anything you do 3 times, what do? You build a system for it. Anything you do 3 times. And that happens in an operations manual. Now, we've spent hours and hours and hours creating the outline of an operations manual and how to actually do that. Would you like a copy of it? I'll tell you what, besides the daily success habits that I give you, I'm going to give you a copy of the Workman Success Operations Manual for a high-performing team. It's where you're going to learn how to streamline every process. You can focus on continued improvement in every area of your business and life. You can start looking at the data that drives your decision-making. And it's not just the daily success habits. It's things like your profit and loss and your cash flow analysis. It allows you to put higher standards of excellence in for the people that you develop, because you develop them based on a set of core values, and you begin to measure client experience. How is the client experiencing your people? If they're having a great experience, then you're doing a great job. If they're not having a great experience, then you adjust and you make things better and better. So my question for you is, if you were to 5X your business today, are your systems and processes in place that would allow you to create the scale? If not, you'll never be able to grow from where you are to the next place. Your job as a leader is to focus on dollar productive activities. There's really only 3 things you should do: prospect, list or show houses, and negotiate contracts. As you begin to grow, that changes to 2 things. You now are in charge of business development and people development. How are you developing your people to be excellent? Develop them with prospecting, with client meetings, with showing properties, with listing properties, negotiating and closing deals, how to do effective listing and buyer presentations on steroids. Remember, if you want to grow and scale from small to large, you have to be willing to do the things that the average agent is not willing to do. Are you willing to pour into your people? Are you willing to systemize everything you do 3 times? Are you willing to start tracking all of the key numbers in your business so you can make decisions based on data? If you are, then you're on a great trajectory to success. Click right below right now. I'm going to give you the 2 things that will help you right now the most. One is the Daily Success Habits Tracker. Track everything you do in 30-minute increments for the next 60 days and get yourself 61 points doing dollar productive activities. And the second thing is your operations manual, and start filling in the blanks following the operation manual system. If you want more information, look for any of our videos that have AMP in the title, and we'll teach you how to actually have your admin do much of that work. Stay tuned and good luck as you scale your business from small to large.